Consciousness remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of science and philosophy. Despite incredible advancements in neuroscience and artificial intelligence, we still do not fully understand how the subjective experience of being aware arises from the complex networks of neurons in our brains. Traditional views suggest that consciousness emerges from classical computation in the brain, much like a super-advanced biological computer. However, in the 1990s, two renowned scientists, Sir Roger Penrose, a physicist, and Dr. Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist, proposed an astonishing alternative theory known as Orchestrated Objective Reduction, Orch-OR. This theory suggests that consciousness arises not from classical computation but from quantum processes inside the brain's neurons. But what does this mean? How does quantum mechanics, a field typically associated with subatomic particles, relate to consciousness? Let's dive deep into this fascinating theory. Orch-OR proposes that consciousness is a fundamentally quantum phenomenon. Instead of being produced solely by electrical and chemical signals in the brain, consciousness arises from quantum wavefunction collapse occurring inside tiny structures called microtubules within neurons. To understand this, let's break it down into key components. 1. Microtubules, the quantum structures inside neurons. Microtubules are cylindrical protein structures found inside cells, especially neurons. They help with cell structure, transport, and communication. However, Penrose and Hameroff propose that these microtubules do something even more extraordinary. They act as tiny quantum computers. Unlike synapses, connections between neurons, which operate at the macroscopic level, microtubules are small enough to potentially support quantum effects, meaning that particles inside them could exist in superposition, multiple states at once. 2. Quantum superposition and wavefunction collapse. In quantum mechanics, particles can exist in a state of superposition, meaning they can be in multiple possible states simultaneously. However, when observed or interacted with, they collapse into a single definite state, a process called wavefunction collapse. Penrose suggests that this collapse does not happen randomly but follows an objective process governed by gravity, known as objective reduction, OR. 3. Objective reduction, how consciousness chooses reality. Penrose's theory of objective reduction, OR, suggests that quantum superpositions are inherently unstable due to gravitational effects. When these instabilities reach a certain threshold, the wavefunction collapses spontaneously, without the need for an external observer. Orch-OR takes this idea and applies it to the brain. Hameroff and Penrose propose that quantum computations in microtubules collapse in a non-random, orchestrated manner, giving rise to conscious moments, hence the term orchestrated objective reduction. In simple terms, the brain does not function like a classical computer. It processes information using quantum superpositions inside microtubules. These quantum states eventually collapse, objective reduction, creating moments of consciousness. This orchestration is influenced by biological factors, making consciousness non-random and meaningful. Most traditional theories of consciousness rely on classical physics and computational models, suggesting that consciousness is simply a byproduct of neural networks firing in complex ways. Orch-OR challenges this by arguing that 1. Consciousness is not an emergent property of neural activity but is deeply connected to fundamental physics. 2. The brain is not merely a biological machine. It harnesses quantum mechanics in a way that no classical computer ever could. 3. Reductionist approaches fail to explain consciousness, whereas Orch-OR integrates quantum physics and general relativity to propose a fundamentally new perspective. This idea is radical because it suggests that the very fabric of the universe plays a role in shaping our conscious experience. While Orch-OR is still a controversial theory, several intriguing pieces of evidence support it. 1. Quantum coherence in biology. For years, scientists believed that quantum effects could not occur in warm, wet biological environments. However, discoveries in photosynthesis, enzyme reactions, and even bird navigation suggest that biological systems can, in fact, support quantum coherence, meaning delicate quantum states can exist inside living organisms. If birds can use quantum mechanics for navigation, could the brain use it for consciousness? 2. Anesthetic effects on microtubules. Hameroff, an anesthesiologist, noticed that anesthetic drugs directly affect microtubules, not just synapses. Since anesthesia removes consciousness, this suggests that microtubules might play a central role in conscious experience, just as Orch-OR predicts. 3. The brain's mysterious processing speed. Computers process information in a step-by-step manner, but human brains do not work like traditional computers. The speed and efficiency of human cognition hint at a deeper, more interconnected processing system, potentially a quantum one. If Orch-OR is true, it has profound implications for many fields, from neuroscience to artificial intelligence and even the nature of reality itself. 1. Iron consciousness. If consciousness arises from quantum processes, then traditional artificial intelligence, which relies on classical computation, might never truly be conscious. To create true artificial consciousness, we might need quantum computers that replicate the brain's quantum behavior. 2. Free will and the nature of reality. Orch-OR challenges deterministic views of the universe. If quantum processes play a role in decision-making, then consciousness might have an intrinsic connection to free will, unlike classical models which suggest that all thoughts and actions are just deterministic processes. 3. Life, death, and beyond. Some interpretations of Orch-OR suggest that since consciousness is linked to fundamental physics, it may not simply end at death. If consciousness arises from quantum processes, could elements of it persist in some way, just like quantum information never truly disappears? This leads to fascinating philosophical and spiritual discussions. Orchestrated Objective Reduction is a bold and highly controversial theory. While it has not yet been fully proven, it presents a compelling challenge to traditional neuroscience and opens entirely new possibilities for understanding the mind. If Orch-OR is correct, then our consciousness is not merely a product of the brain. It is a fundamental part of the universe's fabric, woven into the quantum structure of reality itself. The brain might not be just a biological computer but a quantum orchestrator, tapping into the deep mysteries of physics. Future experiments in quantum biology and neuroscience may eventually confirm or refute this radical idea. Regardless of its ultimate fate, Orch-OR pushes us to think beyond conventional boundaries and reconsider what it truly means to be conscious, alive, and part of this incredible cosmos. Wouldn't it be mind-blowing if consciousness was not just a byproduct of evolution, but a fundamental property of the universe itself?